Well, hello everyone, Texie88 here and welcome to another retro gaming review. And as you can see by this rather prominent screen here, we're looking at US Gold's 1989 conversion. Well, no, I say conversion, I don't think I mean conversion. It's the Spectrum game of Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, based on the 1989 film of the same name. And in that film, his task was to try and get to the Holy Grail, and to prevent and get there before the Nazis do, because if they became immortal, then the world would be doomed, as the Nazis would rule it forevermore. So let's take a look at this game, and I'll have to admit that is a pretty good digitized still from the film. Obviously monochrome due to the limitations of the Spectrum's colour palette. Well, largely monochrome. You can see brighter bits of cyan in the main picture compared to the darkened outside version, which little bit of colour clash on the US Gold logo in the bottom right corner. You can see some moments where there's some of the yellow bleeding into the cyan border. Apart from that, can't really complain about it. Ooh. And we have a very good 128k composition of John Williams' fabulous Indiana Jones Raiders March there. Redefined keys, I think. Move right, left, down, up, fire, pause. Why did it put right, then left, then down, then up? That's just so unnatural. Up, down, left, right is so much more natural. Never mind. Start game. So now we're looking for the Cross of Coronado. This is a bit at the beginning of the film when Indy was a teenager. Even though he looks like the grown-up version. And he seems to be walking with a bit of a limp, which isn't ideal. Fairly well animated, monochrome graphics, but then that was to be expected on a Spectrum. And in this, can you see in the bottom middle of the screen, there's a torch. Eventually a torch burns out and you won't be able to see when. What? That is so irritating. You can bang your heads on the stalactites on the top of the screen. So I picked up that torch to top up them. And that down there is a bullwhip. Now, one thing that really doesn't make any sense in this game is that you can only use the whip a number of times. See, I can only use it 5 times. You can see underneath the torch symbol that after I use it 5 times, I'll lose it. Oh my god, Indy, you can't even walk. Can't even walk over a barrel. Gimp. I would have preferred it if there was some in-game music. This is a bit empty. Grab the rope! I was pressing up to tell him to grab the rope and he didn't. Well, at least it doesn't send you back to the start, and I've still got 4 uses of my whip because I used one on that guy earlier. Ah, he grabbed it that time. Thank God for that. Why did he miss it last time? Oh my goodness me. Those damn stalactites. Yeah, I better get that. I would have preferred it if he wasn't so close to the edge of the screen. What? He fell right through the platform. I mean, I wouldn't mind so much, but you do actually have a limited amount of torch time in this. No! Shite! I took a lot of damage through that fall. Yes, you get falling damage in this, which isn't ideal. Again, he fell through the platform. So what I'm trying to do in here is just like in the film, I'm trying to get to the Cross of Coronado, which is that cross that you see Indy try and get at the start of the film. Oh, those damn stalactites, and you have to take a hit there because if you go further down, you'll just fall to your death. Why couldn't there have been some in-game music? Graphics are quite nice and detailed, I suppose. What? I guess he must have died through that stalagmite going up his bum or something. God. Oh, bloody hell. Another thing that's not so good about, I mean, generally the animation's pretty good. I mean, when Indy's going up and down the ropes, it's not too bad, but when he walks, he seems to walk with a little bit of a limp. Yeah, I managed not to hit the... See, something about his walk cycle isn't quite right. I mean, I admit it, if I wanted... Oh, shit! Oh, fall on a stalagmite again. Indy has a new high score. Let's give this another go. I mean, I actually like the way that when he steps down off a step, you actually see him visibly animated as such. It's nice little touches like that, which weren't strictly necessary, but are put in anyway to make it a bit interesting. I mean, it's not the worst game that that US Gold have ever done. Far from it. I mean, if I had a choice between this and Outrun, this would win every time. What? I was clearly whipping him. I do still have the whip, but for some reason it wasn't working. Oh, God, buzz off. And of course I fell all that way and now I've lost tons of energy. Why couldn't this have had in-game music? It just feels so lifeless. Oh, God, I'm getting fed up with this already. I mean, this is actually 128K Spectrum. They could have surely put some in-game music in it. Not very bright, are you, mate? You just stand there and let me go past you. Yeah, I know you're a video game enemy and you have to give the player a chance. I'll let you off. See, he's walking like he's got a little bit of a limp. Right, this time I'm going to wait for this git to go underneath me. My energy bar is underneath my score on the bottom left. It's that green bar that you can see. That guy's wasting ammo. I'm not going to waste whipping him because he goes back to me, so... Of course, I have to jump over these barrels because Indy's not capable of just walking around them or over them. You can do all this action supremo stuff, at least in the films, but walking over or around barrels somehow eludes him. I always panic every time I jump across that big gap to them. Notice how it's starting to get a little bit darker because my torch is about to expire. So I picked up that torch to get around that problem. Come on. God, I thought that guy was going to get me. They can climb faster than you can. Notice how they look exactly the same as Indy. I guess they did that to save memory. Which is... No, I'm not going... Oh, God. No. Oh, I've only got one tiny sliver of energy. That's nice. If anything so much as breathes on me, I'm dead. Why does he have to be so close to the bottom of the screen? If someone were to get me, I'd have no chance of avoiding them. Right. That's a dead end, so I've got to go all the way back up. And why couldn't this have had in-game music? It just feels so lacking without it. I mean, there are plenty of wonderful tunes that John Williams did for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. One of them would have been wonderful. Duh. I had no chance with such a tiny amount of energy left. Where's it going to put me? Back there, you bastard! I've got 2 lives left. Ouch. Guy bangs his head on the stalactite again. The controls are responsive enough. I can't complain about those. No! Shit! Get off him, you tit! Can't you have a moment of invulnerability when you take a hit? Because that means that you're stuck to the spot, and in that case, I was powerless to stop him from killing me and draining all my energy. Oh, God, banged his head on the stalactite again. Do I even need to go that way? I'm going to see if I can find a way over to the left there. I've just got to be careful when I do it because of those guys. Because as I said earlier, they can climb up and down the ropes faster than Indy. Oh, they have to jump over barrels again. I really hope I've reached a checkpoint because I don't want to go back. See, look, he walks with that slight limp, it seems. No! Shit. You shouldn't have to take leaps of faith like that. It's ridiculous. It's starting to get dark. I need a torch. Pronto. Shit. Give me a torch, please. Oh, God. You bastard. I clearly hit him. Well, that's Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade for the ZX Spectrum. I was hoping I'd be able to show you the other levels. For the most part, the controls are the same, although in level 2 it takes you to the catacombs where you try and find the Crusader's shield to get a rubbing to give you an idea of where the Grail could be. It's based on that bit where Indy and Dr. Elsa Schneider are in the catacombs in that underground part in the library. And level 3 would have taken you onto the airship when which was after Indy had rescued his dad from the Castle Brunwald. And there you would have had to have found. You would have actually had to have found the diary in the airship, although that's not where it is in the film. But I guess that gave a bit of a plot point that worked better game wise, and then you're taken to level 4 where you're actually at the Holy Grail, although the controls. Although Indy visually looks the same, it takes this kind of pseudo 3D look because then you're trying to avoid the booby traps to try and get to the Grail itself. It's a shame I didn't get to show you. But anyway, graphics definitely an improvement over Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. I mean, the graphics are quite nice and detailed in the way the colours change as each torch gradually runs out of juice. That's a nice touch. I was wondering how it would have been able to do that given the Spectrum's limited colour palette, but it actually works really well. I mean, admittedly the graphics are monochrome, but I never had any problems being able to see what was going on. By and large, the backgrounds were left plain black, which actually works better because it's more important that you can see what's going on. You can remember in something like Ninja Spirit, which I reviewed previously, where it had really detailed backgrounds that looked good, but you couldn't see what was going on because of the monochrome. So I actually applaud them for leaving the backgrounds largely black. And there's a pretty good digitised still of Harrison Ford in the bottom right corner there, and a nice representation of the Indiana Jones logo as well. Sound, well, this music's pretty good, but the sound effects in game are sparse. I really think that the 128K Spectrum version could have done with some in-game music. I mean, as I said, John Williams composed some stunning notable pieces of music for Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, the film. It would have been nice if they could have included that. I mean, even having the indie theme would have been better than absolute deathly silence, given bar the sparse sound effects that you otherwise get. Gameplay. It's a bit irritating, if the truth be told. I mean, I'm not bothered by the fact that the torches run out after a while, because they would. But the fact that Indy walks with that slight limp is kind of annoying, and he walks pretty slowly. And And the fact that you can take damage by bashing his head on stalactites is a bit irritating, and it's also a shame that there are quite a few frames of animation for when he uses his bullwhip, and whereas the guys with guns can instantly suddenly be in a stance and shoot you. They don't have to animate themselves into position before firing, so it makes that a bit unfair. And talking of unfair, why can you only use the whip a set number of times? It really wouldn't have made it that much easier, and it doesn't make sense. I mean, if it were a gun, then yes, I could have understood that, because guns have limited ammo in their chamber. But having a whip you can only use a certain number of times, given that it's Indy's stock weapon, it just makes absolutely no sense. So I'm going to give Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade on the spectrum 7 out of 10. It's definitely more enjoyable than Indiana Jones and Temple of Doom, but it could have been so much more. And if only Indy walked a bit faster, and some irritations that are present in this game weren't there at all, or weren't so damning. So anyway, hope you enjoyed this review. Hope to catch you on another one soon. Texie88 out.